Okay, for number 8, they say that there's a 1,080 kilometer trip from Madrid to Paris, takes 2 hours flying against the wind and 1.5 hours flying with the wind. Okay, speed of the plane in still air and speed of the wind. So, as you see after you do a lot of these problems, most of them are asking you the same question. So we have D equals R times T. We're going with the wind and against the wind. So now we fill in the information. So it's 1,080 is the distance. And once again, we assume that the distance is exactly the same both ways. So it takes 2 hours flying against the wind. So 2 hours against the wind, and 1.5 hours flying with the wind. 1.5 hours. Find the speed of the plane in still air. So with the wind, we have the plane in still air plus the wind. And against the wind, we have the plane speed in still air, and we subtract off the speed of the wind because we're going against the wind and it's pushing against us. So here's our equations right across the top, or right across the rows. So the first row is 1,080 equals P plus W times 1.5. So 1.5 times P plus W. And the second row is 1,080 equals 2 times P minus W, right? Or P minus W times 2. And the reason I could write it in any order is the commutative property, right? So for the top one, we could distribute the 1.5 into the parentheses, but I think it's easier to divide it out. So I'm going to divide both sides of the top equation by 1.5. So 1,080 divided by 1.5 is 720 equals P plus W. And then the second equation, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, right? So 1,080 divided by 2 is 540 equals P minus W. So once again, we could use elimination, right? So 540 plus 720 is 1,260. P plus P is 2P, and the W's cancel out. And then we divide both sides by 2, and we get 630 equals P, so P equals 630. And now we go up and we solve for W. I'm going to use this equation. So, and we could use any of the equations, right? So 720 equals P, which is 630, plus W. So we get 90 equals W. W equals 90. So now we write our answers. So the speed of plane in still air, you have to put that, equals 630, and the units for this were kilometers per hour. Kilometers per hour. So there's the first one. Then the second one is the wind speed. Wind speed equals 90 kilometers per hour. So there's the second answer.